Welcome everyone to Great Talking Entertainment official channel. I am your host, KJ, and this is the podcast where I review movies and TV shows from all your favorite superheroes, including Marvel Comics, DC Comics, and much more. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talking Entertainment official channel. Now let's go, baby. Welcome back to the podcast / YouTube channel, Great Talking Entertainment official channel. And this is my non-spoilered review for the new movie by DC Comic, Joker Folie a Duel. And I apologize, I do not speak French, but it's the Joker too. And this is my non-spoiler. Now I know there's a lot of bad reviews on here. Rotten Tomato didn't give it a good score and to the critics. And the audience didn't like it, gave it a low score as well. And I know it has mixed reviews, so I'm going to do my best to convince you to go check this out and give it a chance. I'm going to be straight honest how I feel about it. I'm going to review it, and I'm always going to be fair about this, so I'm going to do my best to, again, convince you to go check this out. So, this is a non-spoiler review, but before I start, if I can ask you guys, if you could pause this, give me a thumbs up, because that would definitely help my channel grow into the YouTube algorithm, and it would help me get more views, more subscribers, and so forth. Just something that small is so big to me. So if you could just pause this, hit that thumbs up, I appreciate it. So, as no further ado, let's get into this non-spoiler review. Let's go. The Joker sequel is a memorizing and somewhat unsettling that shows the audience a much deeper look in the eye through the eyes of the Joker, played by Joaquin Phoenix, who did a wonderful performance. Once again, he did amazing to this. And he really did well to portray the Joker. It gave me spooky feels. It gave me chills. I mean, he really embodied this character, the Joker, so well. Even how I feel about this film, I just want to go off and say I still think Joaquin Phoenix is probably one of the best actors who's portrayed the Joker. Like, out of everybody who's played him, I would say he's done it. I think he's done like a really good, and I think he's one of the best at this. So with that being said, again, it was good, and I loved how he portrayed him, and he was just showing us how much craziness he is and how much a madman he is. And this film themes of the mental health or mental illness with trauma and blurred lines of what's reality and what is not. And this film was not as great as the first Joker film, and definitely did not live up to it, not even by a candle. And it just the first one will stay better than this one. And I can understand why others review this, and they're pretty split from it. The critics are in the audience on both sides. Like, for example, if you're just a fan of musical, you will kind of enjoy this and appreciate this, because the best way in a non-spoiler way is, if you ever seen the 2002 musical movie, Chicago, there's a lot of similarities to that film that this film has portrayed in a parody way. And again, it's not a bad idea, and I see where they're going with it, but it wasn't really executed correctly. I feel like some were, but some were just a hit and miss within this. But again, if you're a musical fan, you could, there's a possibility you could enjoy this, but at least I know you guys would appreciate this, especially with the choice of songs they use. But I see why it's not like by others who felt like it was too much of a musical, and they wish that, like for me too, I felt like they should have gave the scenes with more of the reality, more time on screen, and lessen down on the musical. And also, I just wanted to point out too is they sing the same song multiple times, and which is fine, I guess, but I feel like they done it too much, and it was just dragging on this film. And this is I believe, a 2 hour film, if I'm not mistaken. But so it just dragged it on a little bit, and again, it has its points, but I also am torn between it as well because there were some really cool moments within this, and it had a psychological thriller ride to it, but sometimes the ride was just not perfectly set up correctly. And another thing is I at times I felt like it did not make sense for a musical to be the next thing after a certain event happened, or certain dialogue or things were said to or towards a character within this film. Now let's talk about Lady Gaga portraying as Harley Quinn, or as they call her in this film, Lee Kuzel, I believe. Again, I don't speak French. She was okay for the way she went with this story, but not as good as Margaret Robbie, who played Harley Quinn. And it just, from my personal opinion, I think Lady Gaga had a really big challenge to be as good as Margaret Robbie is when she plays Harley Quinn, and I knew that was going to be a challenge. And I feel like Lady Gaga did not perform or portray Harley Quinn as well. So she did okay. She did great for this particular film. But if you ever put her in other DC films, it just wouldn't make sense. But I will say Lady Gaga did an amazing job and a wonderful performance when it comes to singing, because obviously she's an actual singer and she has an amazing albums and hit songs, of course. I like the main plot of this story, but of the stuff that just felt too long, in the sense of, like, I felt like they took longer trying to get to the point where I felt like the audience would have gotten the point. Because this, again, Joker's pretty simple to truly understand, really understand. But I felt like they just really doubled down just to try to explain the whole aura of Joker. And I felt like they could have shortened that. And again, gave us more of that reality bunch of, like, what's the reality, what's actually going on. Because this, again, just like the first Joker film, you can't really trust Joker. You can't trust through his eyes because he's delusional, and he doesn't, I don't think he knows what's reality and what's not at times. And so this, but that's the Joker. He's crazy. He's the he's the clown prince of crime of Gotham City. So the thing I did enjoy about too was you didn't know where this was gonna go at times, and seeing Joker outburst sometimes felt like it was confusing. But that was probably a good thing if what they were trying to do. But that was only good in some of the scenes when Joker had these particular outbursts. There were some that was really good and made sense, and I was like, oh wow, didn't see Joker or imagine Joker would ever feel that way. Or wow, his origin story in this universe, the Elseworld universe, as James Gunn is calling it, it shows a different view of Joker, or Arthur Fleck, as his real name is. But I did like that. But there was times, again, some scenes were just confusing, and it didn't make it feel right. And it was like, what happened. And another thing is too that I believe I like too is it does keep you on your edge of your seat, because even though again at times it was confusing, but it always got you wondering, okay, what's going to happen next? What's this? What's that? What's he imagining? What's he thinking? What's he really feeling like? What is Joker going to say? What's he going to do? What is his big plan, if he has a plan, right? And that's what I also appreciate about that. Now, the cinema photography is stunning, with the mix of vibrant colors and that dark, gritty texture that's perfectly captured, especially when it's based off of Gotham City, a made-up city. And it has that mixture of Chicago, New York at times. And I also just like that, you don't know where they're at in the year. I mean, you kind of can guess, but it looked kind of futuristic, but it did look very old school at times. So it just depends on how you want to interpret, how you view Gotham City, because again, like, there's many Batman movies, many TV shows, cartoons of adaptation of what Gotham City is. So this is just another version of how Todd Phillips views Gotham City, which is pretty. It kind of similar to like The Dark Knight, the Batman starring Robert Pattinson. Maybe Gotham City, the TV show, and it kind of resembles when through Batman v Superman or the Justice League movie. So it kind of has it, but it kind of simulates to theirs. But Todd Phillips did put his own spin to it, obviously. But this is just another version of how somebody interprets what a Gotham City would look like in real life, basically. And I really liked it. But very cool. I loved it. My only disappointment about that is the one thing is it didn't feel like there was like Batman doesn't exist. The one thing that you can't really do without Joker, and the thing you can't do without Batman, is how you not have these two in the same room or exist in the same world. Yes, I know in the first movie Joker, in a non-spoiler way, there is a Bruce Wayne in there, and obviously he's not Batman yet, but I would imagine, as long as they got, what's the one thing about this movie too, they don't explain like the year gap between the first film and that one within the story, but whatever it is, they never really make it feel like Batman. They don't mention Batman. They don't mention, somebody in a suit. Nothing. It just did not feel like a Batman thing, which is, I think it's, to me, no matter what people say, if you're going to do a Joker film, no matter what, you got to have something Batman in there, or just his aura, his presence or something. This is Gotham City, like, there's Joker, now there's Batman. But I guess they weren't doing it, but whatever reason they didn't do that, and I feel like at least this one would have made sense. Now, it is a psychological thriller at its best, but it definitely was at its best at the end of this film. And the ending to this film, I'm okay with. I like the ending. I think the ending of it was really cool. I think it makes sense too. And I know I've been saying it's been confusing, but it makes sense if you compare it how the movie starts. There's a lot of foreshadowing from the beginning of this film that foreshadows how of the ending of this film. And that's really cool. So I like where they're going with it. But they did leave it where there's room for a third film. It just depends on, will they do a third film? What else could they do with Joker? And what else does Joaquin Phoenix have left to perform as the Joker? That's the big question too. But I liked it because if they don't want to continue on making a third Joker film, the way this film ending is really perfect in the sense of it. Like this second film, it does acknowledge what happens in the first film. So that story is really heavily tied into this second film. And so it does, for that sake of it, if you're going to watch movie to movie, back to back, this story makes sense, especially in the ending for this particular film. So I'll give them credit on that. Like, they executed that right. So I would say, like, go ahead and check this out. Like, I think if you're a fan of DC Comics, you're just a fan of superheroes, and if you just know who Joker is and how famous villain he is to Batman, definitely check this out. I think it's worth going out to see in theaters. And the reason why I say that, because it's not like a horrible movie. It's not like the worst movie in history or the worst DC movie in history. I think it just doesn't live up to what people expect to be the Joker in the sense of it. But that's why I get it. And again, a lot of people are not a fan of musicals, but there are a lot of people who love musicals. So it's I would say it's pretty even 50-50 at most, I would believe. So I think that's the one thing. Like, not everybody is into musicals, but again, a lot of people are. So that's how I would base it. But for me personally, I'm somebody who likes musicals, whether they're live on stage or just a movie version of it. I like it. So for me, the reason why I wasn't a fan of this per se is just for the two main reasons. One, I don't think a musical theme movie to do a Joker film is the right direction to go. And now for people who read comic books or who Google things like this, yes, it's known that Joker does dance and sing. I mean, if you remember the 90s Batman the animation series, there's a few episodes where Joker does a little bit of a musical, does a little singing, a little bit of dancing. Yes. But he doesn't do that all the time like that. Like, Joker doesn't just do that. He does some crazy psychopath stuff. So I think they lack that part and double down on the musical singing delusional part way too much, where I think most fans and me myself just wanted to see the more reality, the sad side of who the Joker really is, like what makes him this person. And just, maybe not feel bad for him, but also understand, like, he's the Joker, he's the villain. Like, that's the only way you should go with it. And again, I feel it's the second thing I didn't like is it's just they didn't really execute it right on making a musical theme with this. I feel like there were some parts that didn't make sense, but a lot of the times the songs just dragged on. And I know I said that multiple times, but that's the main thing. That musical stuff just dragged on too much. And I think they should have lessened that. Just take a few back steps on that a little bit. But that's the only thing. So if I had to give this a 1 out of 10, I'm giving this a 6. It's a movie I would, again, go out and see this. I think it'd be worth your time. And I think it's a straightforward film. Like, you're either going to like it or you're not gonna like it. And again, it's not my favorite film. I just don't like it, but it's a film I would watch again when it comes out on streaming service. So that's just me. But I do like Joaquin Phoenix portraying the Joker. I think, man, he brought his A game, and he was like really amazing. Like, he's probably one of the best actors to play Joker. Like, he's probably the best one out of them. Like, it'd be like Heath Ledger for me, and then Joaquin Phoenix. And then I'd say like Jack Nicholson, and then I'd say Jared Leto. But that's just me. And Lady Gaga, she wasn't the best Harley Quinn, but when she got to sing, wow, she's in a, again, I always knew, because Lady Gaga is one of my favorite artists growing up, and she's an amazing singer, amazing artist. So, boy, to hear her sing in the theater was really awesome and fun. If you're a fan of Lady Gaga, for sure. So definitely check that out, guys. And just thank you so much for checking out my review, listening to it. I appreciate that. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talking Entertainment official channel. Subscribe, hit that notification button so you can always be updated with all my latest content. Thank you, guys, and peace out.